When it comes to adult-oriented tourism in Asia or experiences of a more private nature, most people immediately think of Thailand. But in recent years, a quiet shift has been taking place. The Philippines is steadily emerging as a new hotspot, gradually taking over Thailand's long-held position. For many older male travelers from Europe and the United States, this island nation has become a new paradise, offering deeply personal and often discreet experiences in the heart of Southeast Asia. Today, we're not here to explore the glamorous side of Manila, but rather to uncover the shadows that lie beneath. Behind the city lights are stories of poverty, crime, and lives rarely featured in glossy travel brochures. So the question is, are you ready to step into the darker side of the Philippine capital? Manila, the nation's capital and its largest metropolitan area, is a densely populated hub of activity and commerce. Spanning around 700 square kilometers and home to an estimated 15 million people, this city is a complex blend of urban prosperity and deep social inequality. One of the first things you'll notice on Manila's streets is the visible presence of heavily armed security personnel. Stationed at malls, intersections, and busy public areas, their presence is a response to the city's high crime rate. Theft, kidnapping, and drug-related offenses are among the most pressing issues. With reported crime rates reaching as high as 65%, Manila has often found itself listed among the world's most dangerous cities. For many of the poor in the Philippines, especially in the capital, Manila, life is often described as a kind of living hell. Caught in an endless cycle of poverty and hardship, countless families endure conditions that are almost unimaginable. Sometimes, all it takes is a glimpse at what they eat each day to understand the harsh reality. Even those accustomed to drinking from the Ganges River in India might find themselves shaken by what they witness here. Manila is far from being a completely underdeveloped city. On the global stage, it was once hailed as the New York of Asia, boasting towering skyscrapers and lush, modern urban districts. But venture just a few kilometers beyond the city center, and a stark contrast emerges. A belt of sprawling slums encircles the capital, where living conditions are shockingly poor. Today, Manila is home to over 526 informal settlements, sheltering more than 4 million people living in poverty. And to call them slums is, in many cases, an understatement. Some families live directly on top of garbage dumps, without land, without rights, and with poverty passed down through generations, as if it were an inheritance. There's a well-known area in Manila called Happy Land, but in truth, it's far from joyful. It's a slum built right next to a massive garbage dump. The entire neighborhood is filled with the stench of rotting waste, and the water people use for daily life is cloudy, contaminated, and often unsafe. Part of the problem stems from the massive gap between the rich and the poor. While sleek shopping malls and luxury five-star hotels rise in the heart of the city, just a short distance away are sprawling slums, where over a third of the population lives in dire conditions, and more than half of households fall below in the poverty line. Narrow, filthy alleys filled with the stench of garbage and sewage are home to thousands of children, many of whom grow up surviving on whatever they can scavenge from the dumps. Beyond economic and social issues, Manila also faces deep-rooted cultural and moral challenges. The Philippines is the only country in Asia where divorce is illegal, and it enforces strict anti-abortion laws. At the same time, sex education remains limited, contributing to alarmingly high rates of teenage pregnancy. According to some reports, as many as 5 underage girls give birth every day, a shocking statistic that reflects a broader crisis affecting the nation's most vulnerable. Manila is also a popular destination for international travelers, and among them are those drawn to the city's adult entertainment scene. Although not officially legalized, this industry operates in a legal gray area, with local authorities often turning a blind eye. As a result, an informal underground economy has quietly flourished. This has only worsened existing issues tied to crime, exploitation, and abuse, creating a vulnerable environment where the lines between tourism and human suffering are disturbingly blurred. Despite being the country's economic center, Manila continues to struggle with deep-rooted issues that authorities have yet to resolve. According to the latest survey in April 2025, 1 in every 3 residents lives in a slum, and in some areas, the average monthly income is less than $50. This harsh reality fuels a vicious cycle of poverty, crime, and social inequality. With such low living standards, access to protein-rich food like meat is nearly impossible for many. As a result, over the past 2 decades, more than 3 million children living in slum areas have suffered from malnutrition, stunted growth, and developmental delays, both physically and mentally. To cope with chronic malnutrition, some residents have turned to a controversial solution, a dish called Pagpag, which literally means to shake off the dirt. In reality, it's made from food scraps collected from garbage. Each night, scavengers roam the back alleys of upscale neighborhoods, especially behind restaurants, where bins overflow with leftover meals, discarded chicken bones, spoiled rice, and scraps of vegetables. These places are often infested with rats, cockroaches, and the overwhelming stench of rot. But for the urban poor, they are seen as food supply zones. The collected bags of waste are brought back to the slums, where unemployed residents sort through them. Spoiled rice and vegetables, often used to feed pigs. Chicken bones or wings with bits of meat, cleaned, recooked, and recycled into meals. Though these scraps may have been crawling with insects or buried in filth, they often represent the only source of protein available to thousands of families. Despite being ranked among the most dangerous cities in the world, Manila continues to draw in millions each year, from impoverished migrants searching for a better life, to curious travelers captivated by the city's chaotic charm and raw authenticity. The city is also infamous for its crippling traffic. According to multiple global reports, Manila consistently ranks as one of the most congested cities on the planet. Road accidents are common, and traveling between districts often takes far longer than expected. Yet amid all the noise and disorder, there is a rhythm to life here, unique, resilient, and strangely reflective. Compared to major cities in Europe or North America, the cost of living in Manila is remarkably low, especially when it comes to food, public transport, and modest housing. A hearty street meal might only cost a few dollars, but it's packed with local flavor and enough to fuel you through an entire day. Thank you for watching. If you found this story eye-opening, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more untold truths from around the world. See you in the next journey.